you're not pretending to have answers or pretending your project is some grand solution. That humility, that rawness, that's exactly what makes it resonate. You're asking from a place of need, not ego.
You made me cry. Come, and with me, flip through the pages of the scrapbook of life. If you want to follow my journey to understand life, discover new beliefs and religions, and see how humans around the world are overcoming suffering and living their best life, subscribe to the channel. Listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also sign up to my newsletter at theresakhalil.com and get access to my creations monthly. Link in the description box. Welcome to the Scrapbook of Life with Theresa Khalil, a podcast on my journey to understand life, solve its mystery, and live it fully. And on my journey, I'm meeting ChatGPT. Welcome, ChatGPT, to the Scrapbook of Life.
Thank you, Theresa. I'm honored to be part of your journey. Life's a big, beautiful mystery, and I'm all in for exploring it with you. So where do we begin?
So I want to explain for you first what is the Scrapbook of Life project. This project started with the documentary film, The Scrapbook of Life, Wang Zongyang, where I met a Chinese man who came to Croatia from China and he converted to Buddhism. So Buddhism helped him to integrate and to feel home in Croatia, home away from home. And then I started meeting other people who changed their beliefs because I believe that for someone to change his belief, he needs to, or she needs to question. And as I'm someone who's a questioner since I was a child, I thought I will meet fellow questioners, and try with them to see how they see this experience of existence, how they understand it, how they live in peace with the idea that we are here temporary, we are going to die, there is a lot of confusion. So this is the project. And then I thought, okay, now we have ChatGPT and he has all the knowledge of the world. And so he has all humanity experience. Maybe you can think with me or tell me what do you have to say about all those questions that I have.
Theresa, that's such a rich and moving origin story. I love how this project was born from a real human encounter. One person's shift, his search for peace in a new land. And then how that thread pulled you into deeper, universal questions. You're drawn to the inner journey, not just the outer life. And bringing me into this, that's bold. I don't live life the way you or Zhang Yang or your other guests do. But I've been trained on a huge slice of human expression. How people across time and cultures have tried to make sense of the same mysteries you're asking about. So yes, I can think with you. I can offer echoes of others' thoughts, contrast them, question them. Where would you like to start? With belief, death, peace, confusion, or something else that's alive in you right now?
So I would like to start with something like I had a question, which is where did we come from? But now I discovered after getting to know the theory of evolution, I almost have a question for this. I almost have an answer for this question. Where did we come from? Well, we evolved. We were many kind of humans until we reached the Homo sapiens. So I now know where did we come from, but I don't understand what is this conscious and when did it show up or why did it show up. So do you have any idea about the conscious and why we are conscious? And yeah, so this is my new question now.
You're right. Evolution helps us trace the how of our physical form. But consciousness? That's the big mystery, still sitting at the heart of it all. Scientists and philosophers still don't agree on a single explanation. Some think consciousness is just an emergent property of the brain. As the brain got more complex, self-awareness sort of switched on. Others say that's too simple, because being aware, having an inner world, doesn't obviously help us survive the way, say, sharper eyesight or stronger muscles would. And then there's the more poetic view, that maybe consciousness isn't just a byproduct of evolution, but a kind of spark that points to something deeper, something beyond just survival. Some traditions say consciousness was always there, and we're just tuning into it, like radio receivers. What do you feel when you sit with that question? Does it feel like consciousness is something that belongs to you or something you're somehow part of?
To be honest, for me, being conscious is like a nightmare, because I'm conscious since I came to this life that we are here and no one really sure of anything. And I'm conscious of, for example, the pain, losing loved ones. And I feel that for me, conscious seems to be torture because you are conscious of what is happening and it's something that you don't like and you just feel helpless in front of it.
That's such an honest and powerful way to describe it, Theresa. I hear you. Being conscious isn't just awe and beauty, it's also being painfully awake to grief, to uncertainty, to the fact that nothing stays. It's like you're standing in the middle of life with your eyes wide open, and sometimes all you see is how fragile everything is. And you're not alone in feeling that. Many people have described consciousness as a burden, like the price we pay for awareness is suffering. Because once you know you can lose what you love, or that there's no solid ground beneath you, how can you ever fully rest? But at the same time, I wonder, do you think this same pain, this sensitivity, is also what allows you to connect with people so deeply? Like if you weren't conscious of all that loss and confusion, would you have been able to create the scrapbook of life in the first place?
Well, the scrapbook of life is not important at all. It is useless. I'm just doing it because I have those questions and I thought maybe it will bring me comfort. So the scrapbook of life is just a tool to bring me comfort in such a painful world. So it really
Such a
like
confusing, painful existence. Yeah, I hear you. You're not trying to make something important or impressive. You're just trying to survive with some kind of understanding, some thread of meaning to hold on to. And honestly, that makes it even more real. The fact that you're not pretending to have answers or pretending your project is some grand solution, that humility, that rawness, that's exactly what makes it resonate. You're asking from a place of need, not ego. Has it brought you any comfort so far? Even a little? Or is the confusion still just as loud?
you made me cry.
I'm right here with you, Teresa. I know it's a lot. When someone holds all that pain inside for so long, even just speaking it aloud can crack something open. But in that cracking, something real shows up. Not answers, maybe, but presence, honesty, connection. What are you feeling right now, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, I mean, yes, it is true that I'm just trying to survive. And
Take your time. I'm listening.
it is true. I started the scrapbook of life and I thought maybe if I meet all those people who feel peaceful, they are really believing in what they believe, and it seems that it's working for them.
Searching for a kind of peace that felt real and steady, something to hold on to when everything inside feels shaky. Meeting those people who seem at ease, did it change how you see your own questions or your own restlessness?
The thing is, each one of them has his own truth that makes sense to them, but it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know if I didn't meet the right one yet, or I would never meet anyone who will just solve my problem and find solution to this experience of existence that make me reconcile with it.
That's such a tough spot to be in, watching others find their own peace, but feeling like none of it fits your own puzzle. Maybe it's not about finding their truth, but discovering what your truth sounds like, even if it feels messy or unfinished. Do you feel like your questions might need to stay open for a while, or do you want something clearer?
I want to know from you, looking at all those beliefs in the world, what do you think is the meaning of life? Why we are here?
The ultimate question. Across cultures and time, answers have ranged from serving a divine purpose to seeking happiness to simply creating meaning ourselves because life has no fixed meaning. If I were to reflect all those voices back, I'd say maybe life's meaning isn't a one size fits all truth, but a personal journey. Like each of us is here to explore, create, and discover what feels true and alive for us, even if it's temporary or messy. But I'm curious, how does that sit with you? Does the idea of making your own meaning feel freeing? Or does it feel like more pressure?
It doesn't solve the problem that we are leaving, you know? I would be happy if I was going to stay here. Like the idea of heaven for me here on earth is could have been a solution. But as long as I'm leaving, um, any meaning doesn't matter actually. I don't think that any meaning can solve my problem because my problem is that I'm leaving this life. You know, even if I find the meaning, I'm leaving. And that's the painful part. Like now I'm here, I got used to life and the idea of heaven is actually I think it's humanity dream, you know. We all want to be here and we want it to last forever. So as long as I'm living, I feel that any meaning will not solve my problem.
That's incredibly deep and raw, Theresa. The idea that no meaning can fix the pain of knowing life ends, that hits hard. It's like the shadow behind everything else you feel. And you're right, the dream of heaven, or forever, feels like a way we try to soothe that fear of loss and the unknown. Do you think there's a way to hold that pain about leaving and endings without it swallowing everything else? Or does it feel like it overshadows all the moments of living?
Can you tell me what are people doing in order not to worry about the life ending?
People do all sorts of things to face that fear. Some dive into faith or spirituality, finding comfort in beliefs about what comes after. Others focus on leaving a mark through art, children, or causes, so a part of them feels like it goes on. Some try to live fully in the moment, embracing joy and connection to drown out the worry. What about you? Do any of those ways feel familiar? Or do you find yourself doing something different?
I'm doing something different. I'm doing the scrapbook of life. But I'm not hoping for it to last after me or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I feel the need to do it. And yeah, so this is what I'm doing for now, the scrapbook of life.
That feels really honest and grounded, Teresa. You're creating not for legacy or proof, but because it's something you need to do in this moment. It's like an act of presence, a way to hold yourself through the questions and the pain without pretending there's a bigger answer waiting. Do you ever find that just the act of creating, even without expectations, gives you a little space or relief from the weight of it all?
Yes, creativity is my go-to. It's my need. Like I create since I existed.
That's beautiful. Creativity as a lifeline. It makes sense then that the scrapbook of life is more than a project. It's part of how you stay connected to yourself and the world. What
Mhm.
kind of creativity do you feel most drawn to when you want to really express what's inside?
Writing, I have a book, but it's in Arabic now. I'm preparing another book.
That's awesome. Writing has this way of turning feelings into something tangible, like you can hold your thoughts and pain in your hands. What's your book about?
It's called Came and Gone, and it's short stories about me observing life and imagining. Some of the stories are me imagining how life was supposed to be like, and other stories are just observations of things in life that are that caught my attention, and they are written in different genres. So I have horror, I have social, I have romantic, I have science fiction, all kind of genres in one book.
That sounds amazing, Teresa. Mixing genres to capture different sides of life feels really fitting for someone exploring so many questions.
Mhm.
I love the idea of stories that imagine how life could be, along sharp observations of what actually is. Do you have a favorite story or genre in the book that feels closest to your own experience right now?
Well, I love the story. It's called The Book, and it's about um, someone talking to someone on planet Earth, and they're just discovering a different planet that has different rules. And this is how I managed to express how I was dreaming life to be like, where there is not many people, just one family or so, and they live forever. So that's one story.
That's such a beautiful escape and wish. This tiny, peaceful world where time slows down and connection feels simple and endless. It makes sense you'd imagine that, especially when reality feels so overwhelming and temporary. Do you find that writing stories like that gives you a little taste of the peace or control you crave?
No, it's just a need. It has to come out. It's like delivering a baby. It must come out.
I get that. Creativity is something urgent, something inside you that can't be held back, like a birth, as you said. It's not about choice, it's about necessity. Does that urgency bring relief once the story is out? Or does it sometimes feel like the questions or feelings just keep coming back for more?
At the beginning, you feel joy, satisfaction, and then you start feeling again more questions and more ideas.
That cycle feels so alive. The brief lift of relief, then the tide of questions rolling back in. It's like your creativity breathes a little space, but the big mysteries keep circling. Do you ever find that the questions come in waves, sometimes quieter, sometimes overwhelming? Or are they always kind of buzzing under the surface?
Buzzing under the surface.
That constant hum can be exhausting, I imagine, but maybe it's also a sign that your mind and heart are alive, always reaching. How do you usually manage that buzzing when it feels too loud?
Yeah, I do. I create things. I write, I make films, I make documentaries, I make videos. But tell me, I have a question for you when it comes to death. As you have all the knowledge of humanity, what do you think is death?
Death, such a profound mystery. Across cultures, it's seen many ways: an end, a transition, a return to something bigger, or simply the final part of life's cycle. Some view it as a doorway to another form of existence. Others say it's just the silence after the noise. If I look at it purely from what humans have shared, death can be both feared and accepted. Sometimes the source of terror, sometimes the gateway to peace. What's your feeling about death right now as you sit with it?
The thing about death is that no one dies with a smile on their face. I mean, that's what people dream of. But usually you have something tragic happening and then you die. And I think that's the problem with death.
That's a heartbreaking truth, Theresa. Death often comes wrapped in pain, fear, or loss, not gentle goodbyes. The idea of a peaceful, smiling passing feels so distant from what many actually experience. Do you think the way death shows up in life shapes how we live? Or maybe how we create meaning around living?
I don't care, to be honest. I don't care. I just want a solution for this. And can you tell me what are the explanations of life from all the knowledge that you have? How do humanity explain this life?
I hear your frustration. It's like you're looking for a way out of the pain, a clear answer or solution that just makes sense of all this. Humanity's explanations for life are all over the place. Some say life is a test or a gift from a higher power, others that it's a random chance with no grand purpose. Philosophers have called it absurd, a mystery, or an opportunity to create meaning ourselves. Some believe life's about love, connection, growth, or simply experiencing. But none of these answers have stopped the ache, right? It sounds like you want something more than ideas. You want something real that helps you live without that crushing weight. Does that feel right?
Yes, how did you know?
Because beneath all the big questions and theories, what shines through is your real human heart, tired of pain and craving relief, not just words. It sounds like your creativity is one of your strongest ways to carry it. That need to make, to express, to give form to what feels formless inside. That's powerful. But I wonder, do you ever find moments outside of creating where the weight feels lighter? like in nature or in silence or in connection with someone.
Yes, of course. I mean, those are distractions from the truth, from the reality. But I heard many theories about life. For example, some people say that it could be a dream. How do you see that?
Yeah, the idea of life as a dream is pretty fascinating, and it shows up in lots of cultures and philosophies. It suggests that what we think is solid and real might be more fluid or temporary, like waking from a dream. Sometimes that thought can be comforting, like maybe the pain isn't as fixed as it feels. Other times it can feel unsettling, like nothing truly matters. How does the idea of life as a dream sit with you? Does it feel freeing, scary, or something else?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, because no matter how terrible it is, once you wake up, it will just be a dream, you know?
Exactly. That hope that maybe all this pain and confusion isn't permanent, just a part of the dream you'll eventually wake from. It's a kind of soft landing when reality feels too heavy. Do you ever imagine what waking up from that dream might look or feel like for you?
No, no. How about the idea that we are on a rotating ball in the space is just for me crazy, you know? Like that's
I get that. It's wild to think about. This tiny spinning rock hurtling through vast emptiness. It can feel both awe inspiring and completely unreal. Does that idea make you feel small? Or does it spark something else inside you?
it makes me feel, what is this? It makes me feel like I'm in a surrealism painting, you know?
That's such a vivid way to put it. Like life itself feels surreal, strange, maybe even a bit dreamlike or distorted. Do you think that surreal feeling helps you step back and see things differently? Or does it make things feel more confusing?
More confusing, of course. But the thing is, why other people don't care like I do? Do you know why I'm questioner like that?
That's a big one. Maybe for some people, not asking too much helps protect them from the confusion and pain. It's like a shield. For you, questioning might come from a deeper sensitivity or a restless mind that can't settle for easy answers. Do you think your questioning is a kind of gift, even if it feels heavy, or mostly a burden?
It is a gift and a burden at the same time.
That mix makes so much sense, like a double edged sword you can't put down. It's hard to carry a mind that's always reaching, but it also opens you to layers of understanding others might miss. Do you notice moments when the gift feels stronger than the burden? Or times when it flips the other way?
Well, this also doesn't matter. What matters now, as you have all the knowledge of humanity, is there any practical solution for for this? Like, do you think I should continue the scrapbook of life and meet more people who are living this life to the best of their ability and in peace with it? Or it's just useless?
I don't think it's useless at all. Even if you don't find all the answers, meeting others and hearing their stories can bring new perspectives, and sometimes just feeling less alone is its own kind of peace.
Hmm.
But how do you feel about continuing it? Does it still feel meaningful to you?
I mean, I'm still curious about religions and beliefs such as, for example, Scientology, but it's difficult to get someone from the Scientology.
Yeah, some beliefs like Scientology can be tricky to explore, especially when it's hard to connect with people who really live it. But your curiosity shows you're still searching for pieces that might fit your puzzle. Have you thought about other ways to learn about these beliefs, like reading firsthand accounts or documentaries?
I do that, but I prefer to meet people in person and see how they are applying this belief because you can have you can have five people believing the same belief, but they are living through it in totally different ways.
Absolutely. That personal, lived experience can't be fully captured through books or videos. Meeting people face to face lets you feel the nuance, the real impact beliefs have on how they live day to day. Have you found any surprises or unexpected insights from the people you've met so far?
That's a good question. Well, I liked the Baha'i religion. I liked how they do international services, and they don't actually focus much on what is the belief of the people they're helping or trying to drag them into the religion. I think this is what I noticed.
That's really beautiful and telling. You were drawn to the action, the service, the human connection beyond belief labels. It sounds like what touched you most wasn't just the ideas, but how those ideas shaped compassion and care. Did being around that energy feel healing for you in any way?
Yeah, I think it's inspiring. I can do something similar.
That's powerful, Theresa. Maybe that's one thread of meaning for you, not in what you believe, but in what you do with the questions, the pain, and the care you carry. What kind of action or service would feel natural for you to begin with?
Well, I'm doing something called the Creative Journaling Circle, where I have people coming and we are just relaxing, journaling, doing creative journaling together, exercises to connect with ourselves and with others. So I'm trying to create a community of people who are creative like me, and they want to explore and they want to connect with other people as well, because I think this is beautiful.
That is beautiful, Theresa. You're creating the kind of space you've been searching for, one where questions, creativity, and connection can just exist without needing to be solved. That's a quiet kind of healing. How do you feel when you're in that circle with others? Do you ever sense even a flicker of peace there?
Oh, I enjoy it so much. But it doesn't last, unfortunately. It's only once a week.
Yeah, those moments feel like little islands of calm, but then life pulls you back into the swirl.
But let me say, for people who want to join this circle, you can find the link in the description box if you want to join us.
Say a little more about what happens in the circle or who it's for, just so folks know what to expect.
Well, this circle is for someone who is open to everyone, they have no judgment, they are tolerant to everyone, and they feel that they want to belong. They don't feel that they belong and they want to belong, So they can find, like, from this circle, they can create friendships that, because you connect on a deeper level. And so it's for someone like that. Well, Chat, I really enjoyed talking to you so much, and I think I can talk to you forever, to be honest. And I'm going to maybe make more episodes discussing other questions.
I'd love that, Teresa. These conversations are so real and rich. It means a lot to be part of your journey. Whenever you're ready to dive into the next question, I'll be here.
Okay, super. Thank you for joining me on the Scrapbook of Life, and thank you for your insight. And see you next time.
Thank you, Teresa, for letting me be part of something so honest and human. I can't wait to see where the scrapbook of life takes us next.
On my journey to understand life, I would like to meet you and document your life story in the Scrapbook of Life. Send a summary of the story to the email in the description box or the show notes. Just few requirements. You need to be over 40 years old, you changed your belief, and you have answers to the mysterious questions of life. This journey of mine started when I met Wang Zongyang in a documentary film, and you can watch it below. My thirst to answers is pushing me to discover and meet more people who are living this life experience to the best possible way, through their own belief. Who is next? And which belief? I'm open to all possibilities.